If you're paying a lot for electricity, let me tell you why you shouldn't go solar. Hi, I'm Sinue with DroneQuote, and typically we help people buy solar. But in this video, I'm going to share with you several reasons why perhaps you shouldn't install solar panels. Some of these reasons carry more significance than others, but they're all worth your consideration if you're thinking of installing solar panels, because understanding them will help you manage expectations and perhaps even decide that going solar isn't for you. The first reason you shouldn't install solar is if you can find a better return on investment for making your home more energy efficient by reducing usage through different means. An easy way to reduce your usage is to understand how electricity is being used in your house. Your bill tells you how much electricity you used, and sometimes when you're using electricity, but not how your electricity is being used. Energy management systems from companies like Emporia can provide you with detailed data so you can know exactly where your electricity is going. They offer solutions that install at your service panel where your breakers are located, or at individual outlet plugs that measure usage in real time. When you manage your usage, you begin to learn more about where your electricity is going, and you can use that information to make targeted changes. Changes like insulation upgrades. 55% of energy usage in the United States comes from heating and cooling. Another study from an unverified source also claims that up to 30% of energy losses come from family members' inability to close doors behind them. Jokes aside, improved insulation is in fact one of the most effective upgrades money can buy and offers a high return on investment. This is supported by the fact that some utilities offer rebates or incentives for these upgrades. I'd be really curious to hear from you guys in the comments below if your utility offers rebates or if you've taken the utility up on these rebates so that people in your area can make benefit of them as well. What if you live where it's rather warm and a lot of your usage is coming from air conditioning? A popular alternative to air conditioning units is a whole house fan, which can use up to 85% less power than a comparable air conditioning unit. Making changes to be more energy efficient does have its own upfront costs, don't get me wrong, but these costs are rarely ever on par with installing solar. And even if you still consider solar because it's oftentimes less expensive than the utility, a more efficient house usually makes for a less expensive solar panel system. The number 2 reason why solar may not be for you is if you have too much shade. Let me be very clear about this part. Shade can significantly reduce electricity generation, which has a very direct effect on how much you end up owing the utility or how much you can charge your batteries. Rather than get into the nuances of how solar is affected by shade, let's discuss the sources of shade and how they impact your decision to go solar, because not all shade is created equal. Vegetation or trees is a common culprit for shade. If it's your trees, you may have more say in the matter unless the tree is somehow protected, which is a real thing. What about neighboring trees? Here, your hands are tied a little bit more. You're now at the mercy of your neighbor's decision. And whether or not the trees are on your property, there's also the additional cost that you have to contend with. Building structures is another cause for shade. This can come from things like chimneys or dormers, but sometimes the shade is caused by a neighboring building. Again, too much shade from any source will render your solar panel investment less fruitful. If you feel like shade may be a concern for your system, bring this up to whoever is helping you buy your solar and confirm that the shade considerations have been factored into the estimates for solar production. I can't stress this enough. If the system doesn't produce at the promised amount due to shade, you will buy more power from the utility, which is what you're looking to avoid in the first place. Now, how much electricity do you use? Low usage is sometimes a good reason to not install solar panels. If you don't use enough electricity, there is less room for savings. If your usage is so low that installing solar panels will not show you enough monthly savings or delay your return on investment beyond your expectations, then perhaps you may not find the logic in going solar. This is where taking a closer look at efficiency upgrades I mentioned earlier really pays off. If you have your bill handy, Look at how much you spend per unit of electricity. The cost per kWh plays a big role in people's decision to go solar and is reason number 4 why you shouldn't buy solar panels. Take your total bill amount and make sure you're looking at electricity only charges, otherwise it'll throw your numbers off. Divide the total dollar amount by the total kilowatt hours used in your billing period. This number is your cost per kilowatt hour. The lower your cost per kilowatt hour from the utility is, the lesser the financial benefits of solar happen to be for most people. Now, granted, as time passes, rates will go up, but the expectation of a quick return on investment is diminished if you have a very low cost per kilowatt hour. Sometimes solar is just not what people are looking for, and that's a great reason, number 5, to not go solar. Whether you're moving soon, the return on investment isn't to your liking, or you prefer to see your utility bill rather than solar panels on your roof, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. And finally, the ultimate reason why you shouldn't install solar is if net energy metering isn't offered where you live. For the sake of time, I'll add a link below to our net metering video, but the gist of it is that net energy metering, or net metering as it's commonly known, is what makes saving money with solar possible. If your goal is to save money with solar and you don't live in an area where net metering is available, I would tell you not to go solar. The tricky part is that there are companies out there that will not alert you to the net metering not being available in your area, or won't let you know that the rate is not competitive. And then you find out the hard way when the savings you were promised don't materialize. If you're considering solar panels for your home, call your local utility and see if they offer net metering, because this will either make or break your decision to go solar. Potentially. Look, you're no fool. Clearly you know it's not in a company's best interest to give people reasons why they shouldn't buy their product. But it is in a company's best interest to tell a prospect not to buy their product if the perceived benefit will not materialize for the buyer. DroneQuote has reviews from people who we've told not to go solar. The fact of the matter is that one of the biggest things that set DroneQuote apart in the solar industry is our fiduciary approach. If you want to get the facts on whether or not solar makes sense for you from a company that won't put the sale first, click on the link below to learn more and see why people leave us the reviews that they do. And finally, if you found this content of value and want to support the cause, please leave us a subscribe and click on the notification bell to be in the know when new videos come out. Hasta la vista, baby.